All right, welcome to another edition of Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene, aka Super Heavyweight. You can find me on Twitter. Just add me, and I love talking football. When you see this on YouTube, please take time to give it a like or dislike, or give me some comments. Let me know what you're thinking. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers went up against the New York Giants, a game that I thought was a very winnable game, and I must say that Jameis Winston stood out to me as one of the bright spots of this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can see him maturing game by game. I know that sounds cliche, but looking at this kid from the first game against the Tennessee Titans and looking at him now, I have nothing but good things to say about Jameis Winston. He really showed a lot of heart. That rushing touchdown that he got was amazing. He put his body out there. He's trying to do everything that he can to win, and that's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have needed for a long time. I go all the way back to um, Brad Johnson, and Brad Johnson was a leader. He was a quiet leader, but he was nonetheless a leader when he was here, when his time was here with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Jameis Winston, he's winning over that locker room. He's a rookie, and he's making veteran moves, intangible moves, going over and talking to players, trying to keep people's spirits up, trying to let people know that every game they're in it to win it. And you listen to his press conferences, and he never throws anybody under the bus. And he's one of those people that takes responsibility for what he's done. So I want to start the show out on a positive note. And to me, Jameis Winston is definitely a positive note. So, just kind of getting into the game, and I won't stay on long. I still haven't had a chance to look at the game film. So, basically, I'm just going by what I saw after I DVR'd the game and went back and watched it again. I haven't got to look at the other angles on it yet. But what I will say is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is headed in the right direction. They had a chance to win the game. Uh, I honestly do believe there were some plays that I would have probably done different. Lovey Smith going for two with 9 minutes left in the game. I would have got that point on the board. I know it's a moot point, but this puts you closer to winning the game. And going for two was just not. It wasn't the right time to do that. And I think that kind of was a momentum killer. If as I look at the game as a whole. But I could be wrong about that, but that's just kind of what I saw. I personally would have got the points, all the points on the board. Connor Barth is kicking good. He did have one miss, but as a whole, Connor Barth has been a major upgrade over in the kicking game compared to what we have in the first couple of games of the season. So, shout out to Connor Barth. I think he's doing real good. The Buccaneers, once again, 9 penalties for 79 yards. I know that's better than what they have been doing, but we still need to get these penalties down further. There's just a lot of plays where that kills the momentum when you get that penalty and you have a player that plays as hard as they can, like a Doug Martin or a Charles Sims, and then you get a call back because of a holding penalty or personal foul. And we saw where the dagger was the personal foul at the end of the game that really hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what we're going to do tonight, I'm just going to talk about a lot of different players and a lot of the things that I've been reading. Right now, it looks like the fan base is really down on Gerald McCoy and Levante David. And the one thing that I keep hearing is the fact that they have these huge contracts. And I, for one, think that you play game by game, and that's how it goes. And if you look at Joe McCoy's overall body of work up until now, I think that he can still he's still going to get better. Levante David has been very solid, and he's played in a position where the people around him weren't as good. And I'm not making any knocks on Mason Foster, but Quan Alexander has come in and he's an upgrade over a Mason Foster. So he's able to make plays right there next to Levante David. And I guess for me, my point is uh, Levante David is going to get it. He's a great player. I think he's great for this team. I don't think he's a bust. I know a lot of people are really upset that his play is not where it was, let's say, when Shiano was the head coach. But you're talking about two totally different defenses and two totally different philosophies on defense. So what you're seeing right now is kind of like a learning curve for him. And there are some plays that he could have made and he missed out on, but he ended up with 11 tackles for that game. And Quan Alexander, ironically enough, ended up with 10 tackles. So you can see where, they're starting to work together. And I've heard the press conferences, and you can see where this team is really doing good. And one place that I will give props, because I'm gonna give props where props is due. Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. 9 receptions for 105 yards, and his longest catch was for 24 yards. Props to the secondary for not letting him blow the doors off of everything. We've seen where when Odell Beckham Jr. gets in a groove, he can really do some damage to a team as the game progresses. But the secondary did a great job. Altron Werner had a nice interception, jumping the route on that slant. It looks like the cornerbacks are playing closer to the line, playing a little bit more physical, redirecting receivers. So that's what I really wanted to see. We haven't seen it for a while. Uh, Throughout the season, I've seen where the cornerbacks are playing really soft coverage. They're playing at least 5 yards off of the receiver. And this game, I saw a lot more physical play from the cornerbacks, which I was really happy to see. Um, Charles Sims had a really good game, 8 attempts, 78 yards rushing. Doug Martin, 11 attempts, 31 yards rushing. And even Jameis Winston got into act with 3 attempts at 24 yards rushing and a touchdown. So Jameis Winston, this offense, there's a lot of weapons. And keep in mind, one of your major players is hurt. Vincent Jackson is out. Uh, Lewis Murphy, the slot receiver, is out for the rest of the season, and this team was able to generate as a total of 385 net yards. Uh, that I thought that was really good considering the weapons that they're using. Mike Evans. Uh, the fact that this is a loss, had the Buccaneers won this game, the number of drops that Mike Evans had would be a moot point basically. But he ended up with 8 receptions for 152 yards. And when you compare that with what Odell Beckham Jr. did, 9 receptions with 105 yards, it just shows you. And he could have easily, Mike Evans could have easily gone over 200 yards receiving in that game, but he had a bunch of drops. He wasn't as focused, and he even admitted he wasn't as focused as he could be, as he could have been in that game. One thing I will say, I've got amnesia about this game. I'm not gonna even think about it anymore. Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm predicting right here. I'm predicting Mike Evans has a blowout game, and I'm thinking I don't care what it is. Jameis Winston can throw something, into the stands. Mike Evans is going to go get it. I honestly believe that this game has motivated Mike Evans to show what he's capable of doing. He's not going to take this game lying down, where he admitted that some of his plays or lack of plays had really was a detriment to the team, and he's going to make all that up. I mean, I really do believe it. A lot of people are trying to compare him to the stone-handed devil, Michael Clayton, when he was with Tampa, where he had a monster rookie year, and after that, he kind of disappeared. I really do believe that hamstring injury that he had kind of threw off his timing, and I really believe that as we move forward throughout the season, Mike Evans is going to continue to improve and get back to where he was last season. Adam Humphries, great game, 5 receptions, 55 yards. He caught balls where he needed to, and it was really exciting to see him play. One of the down points for me was the fact that Ali Marpet went out injured, and I'm still right now unsure how bad that injury is. I really like his progression throughout the season, and he was one of the bright spots for me. Ali Marpet and Kenny Bell, who are both injured now, were really bright spots for me with the draft. And what you're seeing is Dirk Cotter, and what a difference maker he is as an offensive coordinator compared to what we had last season. And I can't say this enough, man. It shows not having an offensive coordinator or having somebody step in as an interim offensive coordinator compared to having somebody like a Dirk Cotter who's done nothing but good things for this offense as they've continued to progress throughout the season. He's really put Jameis Winston in a great position to succeed. Uh, I've seen a few plays, a few missed throws. The conditions on Sunday were really crazy. So what I saw from Jameis Winston was a lot of poise. And once again, hats off to Dirk Cotter for the game that he called. I know that there were a lot of plays that there were a lot of times they got down to the red zone and were unable to score. That's just growth where you need to convert those plays. Jameis Winston said it himself. We can't settle for field goals. We have to get those touchdowns. We all know what's going on. We all watch the game. We've all watched, some of us have watched the game film. I plan on watching that after the podcast tonight. But I will say this, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are getting better. They are getting better. And what's exciting, and I know, that we still have a lot of football left to play, but the prospect of making the defense better, helping the defense to get to a position where they can hold a lead, where they can protect a lead, and give the offense a chance to come out and make plays. That is what I'm excited about. Quan Alexander, really excited about his play this season. Real bright spot here. Jack Smith, he's been playing very good. Lots of turnovers, and for him, and some sacks early on in the season. I know he's been hobbled with injuries, but is really excited to see players like that that could potentially provide help on the defensive end in the future. So stay tuned. There's a lot of football to be played. I know a lot of people were upset with this loss. They really, they have to blame somebody, whether it's Fire Lovey or Gerald McCoy is a bust or Levante David got overpaid and he's not that good. You know what? It takes a team to win, not individual efforts. They do help, but it takes a team to actually win these games, and you win as a team, just like we saw in that Atlanta Falcons game where the Buccaneers as a team won that game, especially in overtime. The offense went out and did what they had to do. Then the defense closed the deal for the Bucs to get that win in overtime. So all I can say is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the road to improvement. And there's no such thing as moral victories as far as I'm concerned. But I will say that what I saw from the Bucs going against a team like the New York Giants, they were able to hang in there with them. So, hats off to them. And, once again, it's just a learning curve. And a lot of fans, you just got to be patient. It's going to take a little bit of time. You have to kind of go back in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I won't go all the way back, but you can go as far back as 2009, and you can see where there are certain positions on that Buccaneers team that really didn't get the consideration that it should. For instance, the secondary. You had some players going all the way back to Aqib Talib and Tanard Jackson who were good, but at that time they just couldn't keep their head on straight. Tanard Jackson, as you can tell, a true talent, and he couldn't keep himself out of trouble, and he ended up out of the league. Aqib Talib, same thing. We can look at the example of what happened on Sunday, where he's poked somebody in the eye, and he's now suspended for a game. Aqib Talib, true talent, former Jayhawk. I was so excited about him coming to Tampa, but just when he's on the field and his head is in the game and he's focused, I don't think there's a better D back out there. I mean, there are, but when he's playing and his head is in the game, that's the guy you want on your team. But when you're making stupid mistakes like that, or he's had quite a few injuries over the seasons as well, where I honestly don't believe that he's played a full season since he's been in the NFL. But what he has done, he has contributed when he's been on the field. So the Buccaneers have had talent in certain positions. Darrelle Revis, another example. But what they haven't done is put everything together where you have your safeties, your cornerbacks. I think they've kind of done something with the D line with Gerald McCoy. I think McDaniel and I think Clint McDonald. I think that's a good rotation. I think that will definitely work. Unfortunately, with McDonald out for the rest of the season, that's kind of a big loss for us. But I honestly do believe that we have a lot of pieces and we're not really far off. I could see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into the draft coming up in April and making that a defense heavy draft. Over the past 2 seasons since Lovie Smith has been here, he's really gone after offensive players, and we can see where that's made a big difference with this team. With the addition of a Charles Sims, with the addition of an Austin Safarian Jenkins, I think they've really done a lot. And even with what Doug Martin has been able to do, I really think that this offense has nowhere to go but up. Bobby Rainey running in special teams, I think that was a nice fit for him, and I think he's done very well in that position. So a lot of good things happening for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I do expect to see at least one or two players hit that Pro Bowl. I do. By the time the voting is all over with, I do expect to see at least two Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Pro Bowl. So going into this game, there were a lot of questions because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers uh, went down to Atlanta and won a game in overtime. So that everybody was excited about it. A great game, and then here we have the Giants, who they're a team that they may be atop their division, but everybody kind of had questions about how good is this team. And just looking at the running game, uh, all I really saw personally was Odell Beckham Jr. is that offense. You look at their rushing. Rashad Jennings, 13 attempts, 48 yards. Andre Williams, 7 attempts, 30 yards. And Orleans DeCarwa, 6 attempts, 23 yards. So the big numbers, the numbers that stick out to me, Eli Manning, 26 for 40 for 213 yards. And you compare that to what Jameis Winston did with his offense, 19 attempts, I'm sorry, 36 attempts with 19 completions. So that really shows you how efficient Jameis Winston was in this game and how much of a difference maker he was. And I know we talk shoulda, coulda, woulda, and just imagine had Mike Evans caught at any two of those past 6 passes that he dropped, that definitely would have put Winston at least at 300. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of room for improvement, but I am seeing improvement. I'm pleasantly surprised. And where I was looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was possibly maybe a 5-win team, maybe a 4-win team, and I've kind of tempered my expectations with a rookie quarterback coming in, and they're pretty much on pace to do what I thought they would do. And I think this is a good time right now because we do have the Dallas Cowboys coming to Tampa, and I think this is definitely a winnable game. Definitely a winnable game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looking at all the injuries that there are in the Dallas Cowboys, both on the offensive and the defensive side, I think this is a good chance. There's a good chance for Tampa to really go out there and do something. But at the same time, you never know which defense is going to show up. That defense that held Odell Beckham to 105 yards, or is it going to be that that defense that makes a replacement quarterback look like a Pro Bowler? So we've seen both sides of this, and it's kind of hard to tell. But I do believe that once again Tampa is turning that corner. Uh, Once again, that it's just I know it can be frustrating for some fans, but based on last season, this season has been a little bit easier to deal with than last season, where I really do believe in my heart of hearts, every game we go out and play, there's a chance that we can win that game. And just going down the list, we've got the Cowboys, then the Eagles, then the Colts, then we've got the Falcons again, then the Saints. And those are all, any one of those games is a winnable game. Any one of those games is a winnable game. So I know a lot of people have kind of tucked it in for the season, but you know what? There's still a lot of football to be played. We're 2-1. Buccaneers are 2-1 in the division. What it is? The Panthers are the only undefeated team in the division. So I think we're off to a good start, and I really do believe that there's a lot of good things that are going to happen for us. So um, with that being said, that's pretty much all I had for tonight. I just kind of wanted to get out there and talk about the team as a whole and what I see. And I'm sorry, I'm not listening to the Fire Lovey talk. I've really kind of gone back and forth and asked myself, is it the coaching? Is it the offense? Is it the players? And you know what? Honestly, it doesn't make a big difference because right now they still have to go out and play. They're getting people off the practice squad. They're rotating people in the secondary to try to get that right fit. So it's a work in progress, especially this season. And like I said, for two more wins, uh, I would be happy with two more wins this season. And I would really hope that the Falcons game on December 6th is a game where Tampa could come out victorious because that's our Ring of Honor game with Doug Williams being inducted in the Ring of Honor. So that's kind of an exciting time, and I really hope to be down there to enjoy that. But anyway, with that being said, everybody, please give me some comments, give me some feedback here. There have been times where I've been looking for fans, Buck fans. As a matter of fact, Thursday, I'm doing a special Buck What You Heard edition where I'm bringing in some fans from different Facebook groups to really get in here and just get a fan's perspective on this and what they're thinking and what their passion is. Uh, a couple of people that are season ticket holders, I'd really love to get a season ticket holder in here and just get their spin on what they think about this season and what do they think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at this moment and moving forward? You have to be happy for Jameis Winston. There were so many doubters and naysayers, and the fact that he's gone 4 games with no turnovers is a testament to how professional he is, how much he wants to win, how he's trying to hone his craft. And a lot of people try to compare him to Josh Freeman, but you can't. Jameis Winston is forever trying to hone his craft. He's trying to be a better quarterback. He's trying to be an elite quarterback. You know that word elite that everybody throws around? Jameis Winston is that guy that studies film. He's that guy that looks at his mistakes. He's that guy that tries not to repeat the same mistakes. You look at this Jameis Winston right now, and I tell you what, think about this. If you take Jameis Winston in week number 9 and put him up against Jameis Winston week number 1, I guarantee you that this Jameis Winston would beat that Jameis Winston because that's just how much improvement this kid has made in this short period of time. Now, time will tell if he truly turns out to be that Super Bowl winning elite quarterback that Tampa has been waiting for and needing and never really been able to draft since Doug Williams. So we're really hoping that this guy is it, but based on his demeanor, based on the way he handles his command of the game, his command of the locker room, his command of the sidelines, He needs to have a C on his chest right now. He deserves to be a captain. And I'm sorry, I know that, it's we're into the season, but I honestly believe this guy should be out there at the coin tosses because that is the leader of this team. That's the guy that gets people fired up. That's the guy that the offensive line wants to fight for, Jameis Winston. And that's what we've been waiting for here in Tampa for some time. But I promise you, football is a team sport. And once everything gets rolling, Tampa's going to make a lot of noise and they're going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams in the NFL. So tonight, thank you for checking me out. I really appreciate it. And I'm done for tonight. Once again, my name is Gene, super heavyweight. Give me some likes, give me some dislikes, thumbs up, thumbs down, middle finger, whatever. Let me know what you think of the show, where I can improve, and I'm always glad to hear from you. Hit me up on YouTube, and I would be more than happy to have you drop in and say what you need to say on the show. And if you're a Bucks fan, if you're a Cowboys fan, I'd love to have you on as well. So once again, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and everybody have a good night.